Hey there, this is Dr. Pam Perry, and it is Hot Seat Friday. Get out there, get known. We every Friday at around 2 o'clock, we really talk to prospective entrepreneurs or prospective customers or clients of ours of the Ready, Set, Go Speak community, and kind of just pull out a little bit about what it is that they're trying to do, and see if we can really get them from where they are to where they want to be. The first step for this one is really talking about marketing. Who is your customer? What do they want? And why they buy? And so today, myself, Lindsay, and Dr. Yolanda will be going over like those questions, like within the next 90 days, how we can really dissect and really figure out who will buy your stuff, whether it's a book, a product, or whatever it is. But you do have to have some intel in order to know what your customers want. So if you want to know a little bit about marketing research, you're an entrepreneur trying to figure out like why isn't my stuff moving, that kind of thing, this is a good show for you. So we'll bring them up right after this. Lindsay Ruffin and Dr. Yolanda.
Welcome to the Get Out There and Get Known podcast. Join Pam Perry, veteran PR strategist, Emmy award-winning producer and publisher of Speakers Magazine, who will show you how to crack the code in getting out there to get known. Each week, she either interviews her media friends, PR colleagues, or she just goes solo, offering you strategies on publicity, publishing, and platform building. So listen up to hear how to get booked on media places and on superstar stages. Now, here's your host, Pam Perry.
Hey there. So let me bring up Lindsay here. Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, Dr. Pam.
Good, good. So this is something that is going to be a type of hot seat where we're going to talk about marketing. Typically, we're talking about media and PR and their business strategy, but marketing is 101, right? And getting marketing together is the key. The key for any marketing to work, Lindsay, you know this, is really making sure that you are putting the right message in front of the right people so that they buy your stuff. But in order to know if they're the right people, you got to do some research. So that's the intel that we're talking about. And for some people, they think, oh, I know who my customer is. I'm good, whatever. Well, is your stuff selling? And anything that sells, I don't care whether it is lipstick or dog food, they have done some kind of research on what works and what doesn't. And so we're going to kind of go into that because I think a lot of people will open up a shingle, meaning like put up a website or write a book and then think like, oh, well, everybody should want it. And it really does start with the basic of the foundation. Who am I trying to reach? What message am I trying to say? And do they really want it? That's really like the main thing. Do they really want it? Like, is there a market for it? I'll give a good example of books. This is because Janine is new to our community. I'm gonna write this book and everybody's gonna love it. There's no book like this out there ever, whatever, whatever. And I'll say, okay, if there's no book out there like it ever, ever, is there a market for that book? So if there's nothing like it, that means there's a reason for there's nothing like it because there's not a group of people who've asked for it. So those are kind of the things where people say, "Oh, I'm so unique, there's nothing like it." Yeah, you can have a unique selling position, but it needs to have a market. So that's kind of like the main thing. So we're talking about marketing. In order to get out there to the media, we still need to build up a brand and make that brand in demand to the right people. So give me a little bit of background of who you are, what you do, and why you like this topic of marketing. And you can kind of give us a little bit of backstory about marketing. Is not
Sure.
handing out business cards. It's
Sure.
not marketing.
Uh, yeah, we don't want to create solutions in search of a problem, and that's what a lot of folks do. You,
Mm,
I got this fantastic thing now. Let me go find somebody who needs it. That's that's not how it works. Um, so I'm a cooking show advisor. What I do for a living now is teach chefs how to create their own cooking show on YouTube and turn that into a business, monetize that in a variety of different ways. The journey I took to getting here is brought me through a time period where I became a marketing strategist, and I still do that. That's mainly the thing that I do. The cooking show is a marketing tool that you use for creating all kinds of additional revenue streams. But when I started my business, I did not know anything about marketing. When I left corporate America, because I just couldn't do it anymore, and decided that I wanted to be a photographer. It was a hobby, and then I turned it into a business. And I decided that I would be a headshot photographer and just make, get really good at that and make a ton of money because I was really good at it and making people look good. And I found out quickly that it is not about the product that you deliver, even if it solves a real problem. You have to learn marketing, because if nobody knows you exist, you don't get hired. So that began my journey into marketing. I had to learn how to stand in front of the camera instead of pointing it at other people, and how to create videos where I communicated why my solution was the best solution for folks. If you wanted to get fantastic headshots, you want to work with me, and here's why. And so that just began a long journey of learning marketing overall. First, learning that you had to learn marketing and sales, which I did not know in the beginning. And then I had to learn how to do marketing effectively, how to do video marketing, how to structure messages, how to identify your ideal client, how to speak in language that will get their attention and make them want to contact you for more information. So this was for me a years long process of
Years.
just
Yeah.
getting better and better at understanding my clients, understanding how to identify my clients, because my business has changed over a variety of iterations. When I was running the headshot photography business where I started, I was targeting professionals who business professionals who wanted quality headshots. Then I went to an event photography business where it was a different focus. I'm targeting event planners, meeting planners, etc. Then I decided I wanted to do a family lifestyle photography business. And so the target audience, the ideal client for that was mom, the
Mhm.
mothers of young children, because that's who's hiring photographers for family photography. And I eventually, well, not eventually, it took me just about 8 months to realize I did not want to be in that business, because the mothers of young children are the busiest people on the planet. So I had chosen as my ideal client the people who have the least amount of time in the world. It is the most difficult to get their attention out of anyone, and there's just easier ways to make money.
Mhm.
So I shut that business down and focused on creating videos for business professionals who wanted to grow their business, which those people are very easy to reach. Raise your hand if you're a business owner and you want to get more customers. You need help with marketing. That's a much easier audience to target than the mothers of young children. So I shifted into that. And so the things that I had learned about marketing my business, I was now teaching other business owners and helping them develop that skill so that they could market their businesses. And so that's just the short version of a very long journey towards
Mhm.
learning how to, one, the importance of marketing a business, and then two, how to actually do it.
And part of the things that he said, we are good at what we do. Your basic skill is really within that whole realm of film, video, photography, production, right? That's part of it. But no matter what it is that we're good at, we still have to market and sell that and get visibility and promote it. And so I the 3 things that are in my initials, PAM: promote, amplify, and market. Those are the things that no matter what it is, I don't care if you're selling candles or you're selling soap, you still have to do those things. And especially when it's a artistic thing that you do, I think people are a little bit more attached to it or feel more,
They
lack of a
get
better
all
word.
artsy about it, and it's not. This is business.
Yeah, it's
Nobody
like
cares about your vision, your creative thought process, and all. How is this thing going to improve their life to where it's worth them paying you this money? You got
mhm.
to think like a business owner.
Mhm. That is it. So, Dr. Yolanda, so I wanted you to kind of hear that. Dr. Yolanda Brown, she's our guest today. I'm gonna bring you up, bring you up. Here you go. How are you? So I wanted you to kind of hear the backdrop of where we're going with the conversation so that you know. And I've been saying this all week. And Linda, welcome to us as well. She's part of the Ready Set Go Speak. You can either wish for it or work for it.
Right.
So we really want, and the Ready Set Go Speak is people who really want to work for it. They are serious about it. They're not just like, oh, this is a good pipe dream. This is something I think I want. No, this is something that they are saying this is serious. Because if you're committed to something, you're going to put in the work. If you're not, you're going to walk away from it. And it's like, it's reiterations of it. Like Lindsay was talking about, there's reiterations of for each time he had a different target audience, he had a different method of messaging, a different funnel, different way he sent email, a different way that he would introduce himself. I don't know if he got different logos. I don't know, Lindsay, I'm into logos, right? So
I would tell you something funny real quick. When I was running the family photography business, and this goes into learning your clients, I used to write these blogs targeting moms, pictures of my work I had done with other families, and I would send them out usually around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and I would monitor my web traffic, and I could not figure out why I would always have spikes in web traffic on my website between 9 p.m. and midnight. I thought something was strange going. I didn't know what was going on, and I just happened to be having a conversation with a mom one day, and I don't know why I brought it up, but I told her that, and she said, "Yeah, that's when we get on the internet because
the
we
kids
put the kids to bed, and
yeah.
now we do." And it was just like, oh my god, the lights just. And so now I had to switch. I said, okay, if that's when they're getting online, that's when I'm going to send this email instead of 10 o'clock in the morning and then waiting and hoping that they still remember and come back to it. I'm going to be the chime in their inbox at 9:30 p.m. when they're already in there, and maybe I can be at the top of the list as a result. So that's an
Yeah.
example of the kind of stuff you got to get to know your audience.
Mhm, mhm. And Lindsay is really good at this. He is my business strategist and my business coach. And so one of the things that he helps me keep on track with is to simplify.
Mhm.
Because kind of like what he said about busy moms, realizing that they're busy. They're not reading long emails in the morning. They're going to read long ones maybe in the evening or even shorter ones. So he will say, Pam, who is your ideal client? Are they going to read all this? Are they going to understand? And then he'll say, would they even care? Like, they just want what they want, and you're trying to explain to them why they want what they want, and they don't care why the psychology of why they want what they want. They just want what they want. And so
Mhm.
that's what this is. It's more like to help you laser focus on what it is that trying to see the forest among the trees, right? That kind of thing. Like you can't see the forest for the trees. So tell us a little bit about you, Dr. Yolanda, what it is that you're in the process of selling or you're in the process of uh, uncovering or trying to uncover who your ideal client is. So what are we trying to market to the ideal client?
All right. Well, hello, I'm Dr. Yavanda Brown, and I'm a transformational coach. And my ideal client in the book that I'm about to publish, it's a children's book,
Okay.
and this children's book is it's called From the Land of Brokenness, and
Children, so children, elementary school, what are we saying,
um,
like age range?
age range would be from probably 10 up to 18.
Okay. All right.
So the
Middle school.
book is about um, my grandchildren having a conversation about me and my ex-husband getting a divorce.
Mm.
And in this book, it was just mind blowing to me how in real life my grandkids were having this conversation about me, but one of them didn't want me to know that they were having this conversation because he thought that I would be totally crushed by it. And one of my grandchildren was like, "No, I'm going to have this conversation with her. Like, no, I can't be quiet about this." And so what I've learned is that a lot of time children do have a voice and their voice has power. And a lot of times that voice has been muted because we as adults don't know how to conversate or communicate to children about where we are so that we can help them relate to where they are.
So the book is going to be marketed how? We see that there was the problem is what? What is the problem?
The
The
problem,
children the children are feeling sad because they don't have a voice. They're feeling acting out. I mean, what was the reason or what is it that the problem that we see by them not? going a lot of families, 50% of all marriages end in divorce. So that's going to be that's a fact. So what is it that it's doing to the children that you're targeting that you see?
To let them know that they can have active listening skills and that the parents or grandparents can have that conversation to help the children to be able to self identify their feelings, to self identify their emotions, and to be able to freely express themselves respectfully.
Okay. So by not expressing themselves, that's what I'm trying to get. What is the problem? So
Of the,
what was it?
the
Yeah.
problem could be acting out emotionally. The problem
Mhm.
could be becoming withdrawn because they don't
Okay.
know how to communicate.
Okay. Okay. So that's it. So if I just say if I've divorced and I have a child that's about 12 years old, 13 years old, and I'm divorced and I'm going on, I'm a parent, I'm on my way, and I'm seeing my child is withdrawn and my child may be looking like they're not normally, like they're depressed or whatever. So this book would help the child, but the parent would have to recognize the symptoms. That's what I'm saying. That what are the symptoms that parents are seeing in their children that this book might help with? And
Uh,
it's withdrawn. Those are the kind of things I'm trying to get you to see the language of how to market it, the book to, because the book is a solution. It's a serious book. So it's not like, oh, it's a Mickey Mouse book, right?
right.
So have you thought about that part? When you say you're a transformational coach, who are you really working with now?
So now my clients range anywhere from 14 to 62. So that's the age range of my current customers right now
Okay.
as a transformational coach.
Okay. I'm gonna let Lindsay pick that up.
What service do you provide?
The service that I provide is to be able to help them to um, take positive, take negative energy and turn it into positive energy, and knowing how to relate to life's problems and not allowing it to weigh them down and become withdrawn and become isolated, but allow them to be able to tap into any negative energy and let them know that it can be turned into positive energy.
How long does this take?
My sessions are normally an hour, and it can be up to 10-week sessions or longer if they need it.
So after I sign up for this, well, before I sign up for this, it is my expectation that I'm going to get what exactly?
Results, results from uh, a change of mindset. A lot of times when we go through life's problems, we only focus on the problem itself, but inside that problem lies a solution. So I help people navigate to find their solution. I let them talk and I be a gap filler. I find out what their gap is, what their problem is, and then I help navigate them to the solution.
Okay.
Is,
So that's a
is it
better
this?
answer. The Of course, everybody wants a result, but what is the result? When you say a change of mindset, that is a specific result. And people who recognize that they have a mindset problem, that they are their problem effectively, how they're thinking is creating negative uh, results for them or stopping them from having positive results, the things that they want to achieve in their life. When they recognize that it is their mindset that is stopping them, then they will seek out a solution of that will help them change their mindset. So you got to be very, specific with this problem that you saw. Like, what do I get? You get results. Duh. What do I get? You get a change in your mindset. Ah, so you can help me with this stuff that I got going on where I know I'm the reason that I'm not being successful. I'm the reason why I keep having these bad relationships. You can help me with that? Yeah. Okay. Now I'm interested. So uh that is the answer to that question. That change of mindset, that's actually a very powerful result. So you can't just say you're gonna get results. That's not telling them any. Do you see the difference?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
The issue that I have is the age range. So someone who has a mindset problem in their teen years versus someone who has a mindset in their 20s versus someone, you see what I'm saying? So how are you marketing to each one? Because a teenager may have a mindset problem, whatever that is. It could be because they're broken because of the divorce versus someone in their 20s and 30s, or or mom who, or a woman who's going through a divorce. You see what I'm saying? So each target has its own set of language and marketing prompts and visuals and how you show up talking about that. So how do you market to that wide range? And I'm gonna get to your question too, Janine. How do you get to that wide range of all of these people that I can help you with the particular problem that you say you solve with the mindset? And it's each one has its own little idiosyncrasies. Like that's, someone in their teens does not have the same problem in their 40s.
Correct.
So how do
Yeah.
you market to that?
So good question.
Who
I
So when I
Well,
asked you who is your customer, who is your ideal customer, who pays you the most, what age range?
not so
So I could at least
she
kind of get it
she
to
she
focus.
yeah, I want to refine this question a bit. There is some group in that, because that is a very broad spectrum that you listed. There is some group in there for whom you can deliver the best results and you can do it fast. You can work with these people and you can consistently deliver this change of mindset quickly.
Mhm,
You have
mhm.
a system in place that if they do what you're telling them to do, you can you're not going to guarantee results because you can't guarantee that they're going to do what they're supposed to do. But if they do it, if they follow your process, they're going to get results and they're going to get them quickly. Who is that group? And most importantly, you really enjoy working with these people. This
That
is the
part.
group that you don't feel depleted from having worked with. You get energy from working with these folks and they're doing what they're supposed to do and they're changing their lives and you're getting the fulfillment that comes from seeing the results of your work happen quickly. So who is this group?
That group would be between 45 and 62.
Okay.
They drive me,
The grown people, okay.
the grown people.
The
And they got money.
Gen Xers and the baby boomers.
And they got money. Actually 45,
That's
uh
like that's still Gen X.
that's the millennials. The
That's
the
millennial.
oldest the oldest
Oh,
millennials are that 42, 43, like they're mid 40s now, the oldest ones. So that's millennials and Gen X that she just
okay.
and those are the people that got money. And
And those,
those are the people who are mature enough to recognize that they have a mindset issue. Like the kids, they
their
don't really
parents
have
are
they're not who they're going to be yet. Your brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25. So they're a teenager. They just going through, they don't even know who they are yet. They're so, but the grown people, somebody who's 45, 40, these are definitely people who can recognize I'm not where I want to be and I'm the problem. After blaming others for all of these years, now I'm looking around and I'm like, you know what? This is not all of them. This is me. I got to get out of my own way. So I like that that's the group you do your best work with. And I can see why it would be the group you do your best work with because they have the self-awareness to recognize that they need to undergo a change of mindset. So go ahead. Why are these people? You tell me why you do your best work with this group.
I do my best work with those with that age bracket is because, like you just said, they already can self-identify and have that self-awareness that I'm the problem. Um, Many have done the name blame for many years and realize that even at this age that I'm still the problem. And I'll even talk about, one of my 62-year-olds that is one of my clients now. And she went back as far as even her childhood with her parents, and now can see why her parents said some of the things that they said to her, because she now sees a characteristic in her that she's had all along. And
Mm.
now she's come to this aha moment, like, wow, all along it was me that I needed to be working on, when all along I wanted them and everybody else to work on themselves pertaining to me, when she realized, you know what, it is me. So yeah.
So you pull that out of her, and that was
Yes.
something that the transformation that now it can begin for her.
Yes. Yes.
So the particular uh, book that you have coming out, the one that either is for grandparents or parents who have younger children, grandparents have young children and the parents have the younger children. Is that a issue of the people that you have that are coming to you where they're saying, I'm having issues with my children or my grandchildren because of a divorce? I mean, so I'm just trying to, I know you wrote the book out of a personal situation with you. I'm just looking at the marketing of it and the promotion of it. Is this something that also would continue to attract that ideal client that the millennial, the older millennial and the Gen Xer?
Yes. Some
Okay.
of them have gone through a divorce and didn't know how to communicate when their children were younger. This is what we're going through. Like, we're
Mhm.
going through a divorce and that's just the end of it. And they didn't sit down and allow their children to have a voice. And now that some of their children are even grown, they're seeing the effects of, maybe if I would have had this conversation with them, that my children, grown children now, would be able to communicate more effectively.
That's interesting. Okay. So one of the things that I have a question over here from one of our members of Ready Set Go Speak. So she's basically talking about the book, and she's asking Lindsay, says, if your book is specialized topic on a subject matter, which is fine. Books should be specialized on a subject matter. The challenge is broadening the audience. And so this goes back to the market. If we're broadening the audience, then the language for each way that you market to that broader language is going to be different. So if you're talking to teens, 20s, and 30s, each one has its own different language. It says, how can you compel people, meaning like the markets, now we're talking plural, to
Mhm.
read something they may not pertain to in their lives? I think that's the biggest challenge.
You can't.
So yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna
That's
say
not a
what.
challenge. That's not going
It
to happen.
doesn't. Right.
Yeah.
How do I get you to read a book that you don't care about? I don't, because you don't have time and you're not going to do it. So it's not about trying to get people to read something that's not compelling to them or impacting their lives. You have to create something first that is
For the
relevant
audience.
to people, develop a solution to a problem, not create a problem, create a solution and then go look for the problem. You have to develop the solution to a problem that a specific group of people have, and
Yeah.
then you don't have to compel them in any way. You just let
Mm.
them know that you're available. So with Dr. Yolanda's example, these folks who have reached that stage of life and recognize that they're the problem, and they recognize that they have fewer days in front of them that they have behind them, and if they want to enjoy this time that they have left, they need a transformation. And so you can start agitating these pain points, pointing out different things that are the results of having the wrong mindset, failed relationships, your career's stalled because you can't get promoted, because you can't work with nobody and they're not going to put you in charge of people. You can just rattle down a list of things that people in that age group would be experiencing as a result of having the wrong mindset, and you're going to be in their head like, damn, she's talking about me. How she
Mm.
know my life? And then,
Mm.
and when you're able to communicate in that way to where you get people thinking, how she know all my business? Now you're delivering a very effective, very pointed, targeted message that is going to pierce through all the noise on the internet and all of this other stuff. When you call somebody out like that, they're going to feel it, they're going to hear it, they're going to feel it. They're gonna jump. Some of them will tell you
Yep.
ouch in the comments. Damn, why did you? And now you've gotten their attention, and they know you know what you're talking about, because if you didn't, you wouldn't have been able to get that kind of reaction from them. So that's the answer to that question is, how do you, not how you get people to read something that doesn't pertain to them. You identify your ideal client and you create things that are directly relevant to them. And then you don't have to compel them to do anything. They're just going to hear it. They will hear your message.
Mm-hmm. And that is one of the things too, is that we're talking to an audience, right? An audience of your ideal client. So think of if you're writing an email, or you're writing a post, or you're talking on a radio show, you're talking to that one person. And that one person has very similar, everybody's not identical, but you're
Right.
talking into one particular person that you know inside and out, all of the things that they're working with, they're struggling with, that kind of thing. That's like the biggest challenge that I find that most entrepreneurs and people who are selling anything is they want to sell it to everybody. I mean, even something as basic as toilet paper has a different audience for it, right? There's the one that's the premium and there's the one that's not so premium. So it has a different kind of flavor. So yeah, it's all toilet paper, but it's like there's one that people will reach for because of the language that is associated with it or the brand that is associated with it. So in terms of you getting in front of these people, I will say there's one particular person, and this is part of how I do research, market research is I look at who are the major influencers in the area. Like who are the major influencers in your area, and there could be Brene Brown, let's just say that, okay? But maybe that's not her because maybe you use more, you talk to more African Americans or more Christian people, or you use that kind of philosophy. So maybe it is someone like Nedra Glover. I can't think of her other part of her last name, but she's a big influencer. She was like Time Inc. 100. She's a therapist. But find out within this area who are the top influencers that are very similar to you. You have a little bit different secret sauce, that you have from them, but maybe you can see yourself 5 years or 10 years from them, like a Nedra Glover. That is one of the main things that I always ask people. And how do you find that? You go into probably Amazon because they probably have books. Okay, so you look at what's in your category of the books that you're in, and you look who are the top influencers or the top sellers in that area. And that goes with Janine or even like Linda or Jackie. What are the top books in the area that are those people are influencing the audience that you want to talk to? So you look at that and you study what they're doing and how they're doing it. And that kind of gives you a better feeling. So if you say, well, I want to be like such and such, but they're doing, I don't know, billboards or whatever. It's like, well, do I need to do billboards? Well, if that is who you're trying to model after, or those are the major influences, then yes. But if they're doing podcasts, then okay, then I know that I need to get on the podcast wagon. Or if they're doing email marketing because I signed up on their email list and I see how they're doing their email marketing and how are they doing lives. So by knowing who is influencer in that target audience that you're trying to get is part of the market research besides going to the people, but also looking at your influencers in that area. So
Okay.
so I don't know if you know Nedra Glover at all. Have you heard of
No.
her? Oh my
No.
God. Okay. Uh, I'm gonna look her up and find and let you know a little bit about that.
Okay.
Um,
Thank you.
Janine
So you
says it
got
says, I like how it was pointed that we have to provide specific, yes, a tangible solution to a problem, identifying your ideal customer or your group. That is really, really key. For me, being a publicist, I work with a niche group. Obviously, it's African American. Not that I just only know African American media, but this is the niche that I know. There is no one that will probably can get you on Tavis or Black Information Network or in the Black newspapers because I know the Black media, right? But I also know the general market media as
Hmm.
well. But the niche is in this area. So you gotta know the niche, and, Lindsay made a great question. It made a great comment. He said, "What is the problem you solve for the person, and do you enjoy working with that person?" Because, say, Jackie can solve a problem for a group of people that may drain her.
Hmm.
That ain't gonna be healthy. And you're a
Right.
therapist, you know that ain't gonna work. So So, so you want to make sure you're doing that as well. Are
What
there any okay, go on, Lindsay.
what
I'm
what's
quiet.
your PhD or MD?
DD, doctorate in divinity.
Okay. Um, what was up? Oh, so you got two. You're gonna have to implement two, at least two separate marketing campaign based on what I know about you so far. So the transformational coach uh offering for that 45 to 60 group that we're talking about, that's an entirely different message than this book, who we actually have to narrow this down because age 10 to 18, that's not an age range for a kid's book. They're totally different at 10 and 18. Like that's too much. You either talking over their head or you talking, is this is a kid's book, why would I read this? So that you got to dial that in.
Okay.
Probably in that age group, you probably a 3 year span is the max, I would think.
Okay.
You know, that you can target a book because they're so different at that, from 10 to 11 to 12 to 13 to 4, like it's so figuring out who that age group is for that book is how you will be able to develop your marketing campaign specifically for that group, and that's totally different. That's a different audience. Like you're going to need a separate website. Like this these are essentially two different businesses.
Hmm.
So when
Okay.
you have to understand when you have things like this that are so divergent that they're not these the clients are not even close. You need two separate, these are basically two different businesses. You got the kids book business and you got the grown people's transformational coaching,
Yeah.
and you can't combine the two in any way. Otherwise people will look at you and go, what is this about, and just keep it moving. Because if you're
Okay.
not speaking directly to them, then they don't hear you. And if they see this other stuff, what is that about? And confused minds don't buy.
Right.
If
That's
they look
true.
at your stuff and they go, what is this? You just lost them and you're not getting them back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Thank
That
you.
is probably the best advice that we can really see for a lot of people, not just you, but the other ones as well. Because if you're not really crystal clear on the language that you're speaking to someone, you think you're talking to them, but they're going to ignore you. It's just too many messages out here. So dialing into what someone wants to hear. The problem that I think why people don't do this is they feel if I dial it in and I really speak to a niche that I'm going to lose out on the other people.
Mhm.
So we want to say when you don't and you're trying to talk so broad, you're going to miss them anyway.
Yeah. You
So
either
say for
talking to
instance,
somebody specific or you talking to nobody because nobody's
right.
listening.
And say your total market is maybe, I don't know, 10,000 people. Let's just say it's 10,000 people. Talk to those 10,000 instead of trying to talk to the millions. Talk to the 10,000 because if those 10,000 love you, they will then refer you to another
Yeah.
10,000.
It's actually millions. I don't care
Right.
what your niche is. It's not, it's the niche is
It's
millions.
bigger. It's bigger than what you think. That's why
It's
I wanted
yeah.
Janine to really realize that if you niche down, say it's a parent that is writing books about children with autism or something like that. There is millions, right? So it's like,
Mhm.
well, I want to talk to all parents. I want to talk, yeah, talk to that niche. There is so many people. Do you ever watch Oprah Super Soul Sunday?
Yes, I have.
There was a black woman, I can't think of her name. I was trying to find it out, but she was a transformational coach. She was Christian. She wrote a book. And this is a little thing that I tell people, secrets, PR secrets, because I'm always thinking about PR minds anyway. How did this black woman, who was basically like a minister as well as a life coach, who became an author, end up sitting across from Oprah? It looked like she came out of nowhere. So I usually go backwards and find out like where she started and how
Hmm.
many places. There was probably at least 2,000 or so podcasts that she was on before she ended up on Oprah's couch, right?
Wow.
So those are the things when I talk about ready, set, go, speak, we got to get started doing the smaller things first before we say, I just I just saw this woman and I just said, "Look, you know what? She looks just like me. She came out of nowhere and she's sitting up here talking to Oprah. I want to hire Pam Perry to get me on Oprah." Like, and the book just came off the printing press, right? It's just like the
Right.
book just came off the printing press, and I saw this woman on Oprah. I look just like her, and it's like, no, let's dig in. Let's see where
Mhm.
she started. She dominated her local area for years. She was a go-to person on the local television show for years. She wrote podcasts. I mean, she was on thousands of podcasts. She wrote tons of blogs. So now we dig into it. It's like, oh, okay. So they didn't just wake up like that, right?
Right.
They did some work. So that's what really the Ready Set Go Speak does, because there's one in there, and I think Linda always goes to this too. There's one called Small Business Surveys, where you actually do surveys or you ask your customers certain questions and that kind of thing. But even if you don't do all that, you have already identified who it is that you're going after, what solution you provide, and that you do it better than anybody else. You do it faster and you care and you enjoy working with that group. Now, I don't know how old you are.
57.
So you're in that demo group.
Right.
So we went all around the robin to you're the demo. You
That's
now
the
need to
easiest audience to reach.
because you
You will
are
have a
them.
much
You can
yeah,
reach
you
them.
you are much more relatable to people in your peer group than you are to
Yes.
kids. And
Yeah.
I see this a lot of time a lot of times with business owners. For some, well, not for some reason. I understand what the objective is always women. The objective is to try to help these kids, but if they just you recognize the help that they need, but they don't, and they don't care, and they don't want to, like, you can't help people until they're ready to be helped. So
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and they, there's so much difference between where they are, the age gap, the just the communication gap. You think you're delivering information to them and all they hear is noise if they hear anything from you at all. So it is extremely difficult to build a business where you're not even certain that you're speaking the language of the people who you're targeting. Whereas when you're targeting folks in your age group, plus or minus, you know exactly how to communicate with them, and you know the challenges that they're facing. You've been through that stuff, you've gotten through that stuff. It's just so much easier for you to, just imagine sitting down and have a conversation with somebody your age versus sitting down and have a conversation with somebody that's 17. Which
Mm-hmm.
one's going to be easier? And
Yeah.
so just take the
Yeah,
take the easy money. I understand the intent with the kids, and you can figure out a way to do that once you've built a business that's delivering the revenue that you want. Like, you can go save the world and be a philanthropist after you get rich. You got to get rich first.
that's it.
So
That is it. And think about music too. I did this yesterday. So there was typically when our magazine, Speakers Magazine, comes out, I usually put the magazine to some music. So depending on the age of the person on the cover, I will have the music because they're going to be sharing it to their audience, and their audience is going to. So this person was in their 30s, I believe, and there was some songs like "Going to the Mall is Going Down" and "Lean with It, Rock with It," and all this kind of stuff. Songs that were not like the popular dance songs when I was around, but they were popular dance songs when she was really like out there partying. So they were all her party songs, and that was like the Gen Y, younger millennials. And I was like, okay, this was it. And so when I sent it, and they was like, oh my god, I love it. And the other one was like Mary J. Blige, because
Hmm.
it's the same thing with our marketing for the languaging that we're using. We're using you can't use if you were to go to a party and they start playing music that is not your music, you would leave, right?
Right.
And that's what our messages are to people who it's not for. If you are trying to make me like music that is not my demo or not my, I'm going to leave. I'm not going to listen. It's noise to my ears. But if it's like, oh yeah, Luther Vandross, whatever, Stephanie Mills. Now you're talking. This is my jam, right? These are my people. Versus like, you saw, I can't even, Taylor Swift. I don't know, just whatever.
people who
No,
don't you don't even know their names.
I don't
Right.
even know the name. Right. Right. So I just that's what we're talking about. So one of the things that you said on the application for the media makeover, you said that you wanted more media connections and wanted more publicity. Do you realize how that makeover cannot be done until we get this part done?
Absolutely.
So I was like,
Absolutely.
I don't think media is really the problem here. Now, there are podcasts for sure. And one of the things that Therapy for Black Girls and that kind of thing, you listen to those podcasts. So I'm not a therapist, but there is a whole realm. If you go into your influencers and look and see where your influencers have been on particular media outlets, that is your first realm of media to target. And those are the things that we really help you with in Ready, Set, Go, Speak and help you identify it. Find the media where your influencers are. I don't say competitors, I say influencers so that you kind of get the difference. Find out where your influencers are, the ones that are influencing your current market, and then see where they have been. And then you go behind them because if that particular newspaper, radio show, podcast, magazine, television show have had your influencer on, then they may like you too. And maybe it
Mhm.
was 3 years ago. Maybe it was 5 years ago. Maybe it was just a couple of weeks ago. But you know, and you studied it, and it's like, okay, well, I have my 10 that I want to go after. Okay, Pam, help me develop a pitch. Help me put together the right marketing materials. Help me put together what I'm going to say to them because now you have the clarity. You have the
Mhm.
clarity of
Right.
how to really do all of that. And, the easy part was for us to really help you unseat what it is that you're trying to do. And
Yes.
then the media part is really I guess you would say, once you know this part, then the media part is really easy to get to. And that's the kind of like the magic that we provide in Ready, Set, Go, Speak, because now it's like, okay, I'm always giving within the particular group media that are looking for people. Whether you
Mhm.
write for something, whether you are going to be a podcast or that kind of thing. And the other part, obviously, Ready, Set, Go, Speak is speaking. So where are you speaking so that people can hear you and you're in front of them, and then they can say, "I want to work with you."
Where are you
What type
currently?
of places? Mhm.
Where what are you currently doing for marketing, Yolanda?
Um, where am I speaking? Well, I'm a pastor, so I preach.
So every
Um,
Sunday, you got a captive audience.
yes. Um, I also speak on engagements. I'm a international inspirational speaker, so I speak in those arenas as well. Um, I do
So
not go
So when
ahead.
you
I'm
say
sorry.
you're international inspirational speaker, so not showing where that is. I'm thinking Lisa Nichols. So you're speaking where Nichols speaks, or so be more specific because
Okay.
wherever you find that one, if you're speaking there, then duplicate that, wash, rinse, and repeat that. So if you are speaking at, I don't know, Women That Are Loose, that's not even a thing, but it's Women That Are Loose. Okay, so where are other ones like that? So and what is a result of you speaking in front of them, knowing that you are also a transformational life coach, right? Are they aware of that? And then that's what Lindsay was really asking, like, how are
Yeah,
you
that's a
marketing?
very important distinction. Um, Speaking and marketing are two different things. Marketing has a call to action and results in you getting money. Speaking is you just out here sharing. So
I like that.
where where are you marketing? So at the end of these, like you obviously not doing it in church because there's not, you're not saying, go to my website after you finish and then go to my website. So, yeah, so we're not marketing in church. At the other thing, the second thing you said, is that something similar to church where at the end of it you're not delivering a call to action?
Hmm.
If that's the
Okay.
case, then that's not marketing as well. So where it sounds like the answer is nowhere, and we're going to
Nowhere.
fix that. That's where
Right.
it's okay. It's okay. Because where I was going with this before that question, based on your degree, I was going to say I know you can't get that kind of degree without doing some preaching. So you are comfortable speaking to people and delivering a message. Why are we not delivering a message of some sort on YouTube once a week, speaking directly to your peer group who is in need of a transformation. You can deliver a 10-minute sermon, air quotes, where you're just helping them. Just pretend like you have a friend who is in need of a transformation, a person who you know personally. And the conversation that you would have, you do a weekly call with that person, just catching up, checking on you, what you're doing. Well, here's what, some things you might consider doing this week to help you get move forward. Whatever that conversation would be, that's a video. So you
Okay.
you are experienced in preparing sermons to deliver to the masses. Well, now take those same skills and direct it towards preparing a video for one specific person, your ideal client, and deliver that video once a week on YouTube. And there's no time limit. If you want to talk 10 minutes, 10 minutes. You want to talk a half hour, you talk a half hour if you want. Just make sure that you're creating something that is beneficial to them, that they're better off after having watched it than before they started. And that's something that you just make sure you focus on that, because a lot of people they fall in love with their own voice. This ain't about you. This is
No.
about somebody watching that video and being better after having watched it, rather than you just stole 20 minutes of their life that they never going to get back. So I would encourage you. You have the ability to you have the skills that are necessary to be successful on YouTube. All you have to do is show up and start start marketing, start sharing your expertise, start helping people. Folks will see those videos, they will benefit from them, they will reach out to you, because they want to get more benefit and get it faster. Because I'm watching these, I can't wait until next week's video. I need some help now. I need to talk
Hmm.
to you now. And by creating those videos, that's how you make people aware that you're here to help, and how you can help, and they'll reach out to you.
I want to
Okay.
present the screen for you so you can see the. I'm gonna share the screen, and I'm gonna share Nedra. She happens to come from Detroit, and she's a friend of a friend. So she's actually Rachel's first cousin. So if you can you see my screen of Nedra's?
Yes, I
Yep.
can.
So she just started really her podcast, but her audience is different from yours. I would say something she put out a month ago has 641 views. You need to hear this. Be an example of change. This one is you need to hear this. Choose where your energy lies. Episode is learn yourself through envy. She's interviewing some people to, become unstuck, one behavior, that kind of thing. So those are her videos that she has, but she also has an Instagram. I think her audience is really a lot on Instagram. She's a little bit younger, but you can see where she's just herself. This is how I protect my energy. She's talking that kind of language, and you can see her shorts where she says competing in relationships, allow room to grow, practice pre-care. Parents are people with kids. Are you picking up? Those are the things, and they're short. She goes on there. She has 15,000 subscribers on YouTube, and what happens is that it pushes content out to people who are searching for the type of solutions she's delivering. And so you can see type of her videos and that kind of thing. But it's not preaching. It is really, her main thing is like how to hold the door open or ask and ask early and, just basic uh therapist type
Hmm.
of information, I guess you would say. That's what she is. She's a therapist and a social worker,
Hmm.
those two together. And her book, one of her books is called Drama Free, How to Be Drama Free. So even you can see her, even the colloquialism of her language, that it's not really like a baby boomer kind. I mean, we do say drama free, but you can see where it's kind of like going with younger people, and
Okay.
when she does that. But the thing about the YouTube is really creating it so that you're comfortable with it and you're in front of, speaking, but just making sure the cameras. We kind of talked a little bit before we got on, right?
Hmm.
About making sure the lighting is right and that kind of thing because people do want to see something, and the mic. People will tolerate bad visuals, but they will not tolerate bad sound
Right.
on YouTube. I will not tolerate bad sound. I'll just click off. Now, bad visual, I don't care because sometimes you're kind of like half watching it anyway, but you can make sure that you're going to the sound is good. That's one of the main things that I think the last thing, guys, and Linda or Jackie, I put in there about are you camera ready? And I talked about the equipment that you need, the type of information that the microphones, all that kind of thing are in there. Or even if you need a one sheet, if you're going to be pitching yourself, I just told Janine in so many ways, like where her one sheet needs to be in order to, because that's really all they need to be on a podcast. They just need to see a one sheet, and the one sheet Janine put together. We're gonna work on it, right, Janine, and really make sure that it is. It'll give you examples. Vicky had one that was in there, and she gets booked all the time. Basically, she just puts the one sheet in the message box, and it's off it goes. Just recently, I talked about some speaking opportunities. So a speaking opportunity could be May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I put in some opportunities for people to speak or to write on mental health issues. And from Trina offered to write about suicide because it's not Suicide Prevention Month, but it's a mental issue when you commit
Right.
suicide. So those are the kind of opportunities that will come. And just along with learning and doing the coursework in Ready, Set, Go, Speak, you have opportunities that are coming weekly. And then there's, if you join, the opportunities that were there in the past are still there as well because I pull out places to pitch. It's not just pitching one time, they're always there to pitch. They just happen to be in your community. So you can actually go back and start there. But for you, I want you to start really identifying what it is, who your influencers are, where they've been, and then get the training and the learning to do the same thing. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, the young lady who was on Oprah's couch. I mean, I just went back and I looked and you could find usually in their media kits is where you find where they have been. Uh, there's a young lady, Dr. Cheryl Wood. I have
Mm-hmm.
known Cheryl Woods for over 10 years. And
Yeah.
so Dr. Cheryl Wood didn't just start doing her thing. And one of the first things that she did was to get on the cover of Speakers Magazine. And then from there, it led to a PG County magazine. I want to say Prince George County magazine, Lindsay, or something like that. Maybe it's, maybe it is Prince George County magazine. She was on the cover of that. And, so she became a big deal in her area
Mm-hmm.
and then grows to other major stages. And,
Mm-hmm.
obviously learning. The main thing I want, Jackie, Linda, all of you all, when you all do get them, and even Janine, when you get your stories to reshare them over and over again. Linda, if you were in Artist Weekly a while ago, share it out again. Share your stories because you get stories and you share them. There's so many times that people get these stories. We get our media hits and we just share it one time. If you were on a television station, share it out again. It was a month ago, share it out again. New people are always coming in to see it. So that really makes a big difference, leveraging your PR on a continual basis. Media begets media. The more media you get, the more media that will come to you and you'll attract. And
Right.
it's almost like you're really it in a way, it's almost like you're being grateful for the media that you get, that you'll get more. If you
Mm-hmm.
just say, "Oh, I got that media, I'm waiting for some more." No, the media that you do have, share it. There was YB who's in our group. He was on a television show in Richmond, and he shares out clips from that every single week. The interview was 30 minutes, and he's got 30 segments out of that, 30 little reels that he can pull out of that particular thing. And it's the same set, but different people are seeing it. And now he's getting more and more TV. So I always tell people that when you do Ready, Set, Go, Speak, realize that we're teaching by example. You have Linda, one of the things, she could mentor with Janine or Jackie and Janine. You all talk. I think I set you all up together because you iron sharpens iron. So the
Mm-hmm.
more that you see, like, oh, I like your one sheet, or how did you do that, or even if you just come off of a podcast, we share with you. It's like, oh, you were on such and such podcast. How did you get on there? Oh, I can give you the name. I can give you the email because you were already on there, so you could share it with your colleague. That's like
Mm-hmm.
not a problem. That's the thing, but you couldn't ask somebody on Facebook that because they're like, you're not in my community. I'm not gonna tell you. So yeah, so ready, set, go, speak.com invite you to be a part of the community. I think you got a lot of media connections you can go after now and stages
Mm-hmm.
and stage.
Yes.
But when the call to action will be different once you're on a stage. We're not gonna ask for offering. It's like we're gonna say, I have a business and I'm your transformational coach. Just you get people unstuck. That's really it. That's really it. Uh, Linda says, "Welcome to the baby boomer group." I think she's at the baby. Yeah, she is part of the baby. She's the youngest baby boomer. That's it. That's it. I'm part of the baby boomer group. So, are there any questions or anything that you have for Lindsay or I?
No, I just want to tell you both thank you for the specialized knowledge that you two have given me. I'm very appreciative of it, and I will take action and do what I need to do to make me better so that I can help others be better.
Yeah, yeah. It
Yes.
sounds like you got some clarity. It does. It really
Yes.
does sound like you got some clarity. Would love to have you in the group. You would be really good. You'd be really good. And the thing too, I always try to introduce you to each other. So I think the person that I would like to introduce you to in the group is someone that you all would really meld together as well. Trina Ramsey. You would like Trina Ramsey. Her company is called Just Do You Institute.
Mhm.
She's in California, and she's just always busy. I am seeing so much that she's just really doing. You would really enjoy her and all the things that she's doing. So yeah, you would enjoy doing that. So I look forward to having you in the group.
Thank you. Looking
All right.
forward to it.
Thank you. All righty. Well, guys, Linda, Jackie, the two Lindas, Jackie and Janine, thank you all so much for joining us today. Ready, set, go. You'll see a new member coming in. All right, let's make sure there's no questions over here. Oh, okay. Uh, Linda, okay, she says, great specific action points, which are reminders. Pam states that consistently. Lindsay was great pointing out the questions would let you know how to tighten our businesses. Yeah, he will. He'll show you how to tighten those businesses up. I always say, if you can take it, you can make it. So that's it. So thank you so much for joining us today, and I will see you all. We are wrapping up. It's 3:02. Great timing. Great timing. Thank you, Lindsay. All righty.
You're
Take care.
welcome.
All righty.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Cool. Well, that was it. Ready, set, go, speak.com. Get involved, get in there, and get out there and get known. That's what we're all about. So get out there, get known. This is a podcast, and I'm Pam Perry, and I'm out.
You've been listening to the Get Out There and Get Known podcast, brought to you by PamPerryPR.com, where you'll get insider tips on how to build your platform, pitch the media, and promote yourself with confidence. Head over to PamPerryPR.com and get the exclusive video training on the 7 must-have marketing materials you need before you pitch in order to be considered in media places or superstar stages. PamPerryPR.com, where you help you